Hello algebra students, this lesson is simplifying algebraic expressions. Now before we start, the first thing we want to discuss, what is an algebraic expression? And basically what an expression is, it's a bunch of terms linked by addition or subtraction. When we talk about a term, we're referring to a number linked to some variable expression. So you have what we call our coefficient, which is a 3, the number in front of the variable expression. So that's the coefficient. And then you have your variable expression. Okay? Now, when we look at it, first thing to simplifying expressions we're going to talk about is the distributive property. Now, in the previous lessons we've learned that if I do something such as 3 times 2 plus 4, we're used to doing what's in parentheses first and then multiply. Okay? But if I look at it a different way, if I distribute the 3 to the 2 and 4, 3 times 2 gives me 6, plus 3 times 4 gives me 12, that gives me 18. Now why is this important? Well, if I look at something like this, I cannot combine the x and the 5. Therefore I have to think of something else I can do. And that brings us to the distributive property. Now, when we use the distributive property, we're distributing a number in front of the parentheses to each and every term inside, right, the parentheses. So in this case, I would do a times b to get ab, plus a times c to give me ac. So, if I wanted to distribute it in the following problems, first thing I do is when I multiply, I determine the sign. Remember, if you multiply and get a positive, we add. If you multiply and get a negative, we subtract. So, 4 times 2x is 8x. 4 times 3 is positive 12. Since it's positive, we add the 12. Okay, the next one. Negative 5 times 6x gives you negative 30x. But negative 5 times 4 gives me negative 20. Therefore, I would subtract the 20. Next one. 7 times negative 3x, negative 21x, and 7 times 5 would give me plus 35. Next, negative 6 times 2x is negative 12x, and then negative 6 times negative 8, you got to think of this as negative 8. A negative times a negative is a positive, so it would be plus 48, and we are done. Alright, that's the distributive property. Now, what about combining like terms? If I have something like, when I go to add, say, 3 plus x, I cannot combine those because they're not like terms. And same with like 6y plus 3x. Oops. So we'll say 6y plus 3x. Can those be combined? No, they are not like terms. So when we simplify expressions by combining like terms, what we basically do, oops, it's jumping all over the place on me. What we do is we basically combine all of the like terms by adding or subtracting the coefficients of terms with identical variable expressions. Okay? So let's look at a couple here. What I like to do when I first start is put different shapes around like terms. So 6x plus 8x, right? And then 5y and 3y. These are all, the 6x and 8x are like terms. 5y and 3y are like terms. So basically I can combine the x's. 6x plus 8x, 14x. I like to cross them out to let myself know I used them. 5y plus 3y is 8y. Next, I always start with the expression with the highest exponent. So I'm going to put a box around all of my x squared terms. So negative 12x squared, negative 8x squared. Then I'm going to put circles around my x terms. So 8x and negative 12x. Then I will underline my constants. So once I identify all the like terms, now I combine them. Negative 12x squared minus 8x squared. Negative 12 minus 8 is negative 20. And then I carry down the variable expression. Now 8x minus 12x. 8 minus 12 is negative 4. Bring down the variable expression. Then negative 14 plus 5 gives you negative 9. And this is what we get when we combine like terms here. Okay, down below, 15x gets a box, 7x gets a box, negative 25x gets a box. Then I put circles around the y's because those are like terms. Well, 15 plus 7 is going to give you 22, but 22 minus 25 is going to give you negative 3x. Now notice how I accidentally drew through this minus sign and it looked like an addition. Well, you have to make sure you keep track of your signs because that's very important. Now, I'll cross out all the terms I've used. Now 10y minus 6y gives me positive 4y. And we are done. Now here, I'll put a box around 22a. What else gets a box? Negative 10a. I'll underline the b's. And then I'll circle the c's. When I go to combine, 22a minus 10a gives me positive 12a. Cross them out, I've used them. Negative 15b minus 11b. Negative 15 minus 11 is negative 26b. Cross them out, I've used them. And then 6c minus 20c will give me minus 14c. And we are done. Nothing else can be simplified here. Now what happens if we have to simplify expressions that include everything? The first thing you do is you always, sorry, go ahead and change this. First thing we do is we always get rid of parentheses by distributing. Then once we get rid of the parentheses by distributing, then we basically combine all of our like terms. Okay? So in number 1 here, do we see parentheses? Yes. So I go ahead and I distribute. Negative 3 times 6x is negative 18x. Negative 3 times negative 1 is positive 3. Remember, negative times negative is a positive. So plus 3, and I bring down my plus 4x. Now, I look what can be combined here. Negative 18x plus 4x gives me negative 14x. Can I combine that constant 3 with anything? No. So I bring it down. Next one. I have 2 separate sets of parentheses to get rid of. So the first thing I'll do is distribute this negative 7. Negative 7 times 3x, negative 21x. Negative 7 times negative 4y, positive 28y. Then I distribute the 2 to the next set of parentheses. 2 times 3x is plus 6x. 2 times 4y is plus 8y. 2 times negative 5 is negative 10. And now I can go ahead and combine like terms. Negative 21x plus 6x, negative 15x. Cross them out, you've used them. 28y plus 8y is going to give you plus 36y. So have anything combined with the negative 10? No. So I bring minus 10 down. And we are done there. Now, next one. I cannot do anything with this outside the parentheses. The first thing I have to do is distribute. I bring down the 7x, but I'm going to distribute negative 4. Negative 4 times 3x is going to give me negative 12x. Negative 4 times negative 8 is positive 32. If I look, these are the only 2 terms that can be combined. So it's going to give me negative 5x and bring down the plus 32. And we stop there. Okay? Now number 4. It's very enticing for students to want to do 12 minus 7. But remember, we have to get rid of parentheses before we can do any addition or subtraction. So I bring down the 12. I'm going to distribute this negative 7. Negative 7 times negative 2x is plus 14x. Negative 7 times negative 6 is going to be plus 42. Now I always start with the variable. Do I have anything I can combine with the 14x? No. So I bring it down. Then 12 plus 42, when I combine those, I'm going to get plus 54. And I am done. Okay? Now the next one, it looks very intimidating, but it's actually pretty easy. Do I have anything to distribute to the 7x? No. Bring it down. How about the 4y? No. So I bring it down. Now I have to distribute this 3. 3 times 5x is 15x. 3 times negative 3y is minus 9y. 3 times 8 gives me plus 24. Do I have to distribute to this 12? No, because it's outside the parentheses, so I just bring it down. Now, I can combine 7x, 15x. I can combine the 4y, negative 9y, and then the 24 and negative 12. So I'm going to go ahead and combine those. 7x plus 15x, 22x. 4y minus 9y is minus 5y. And then 24 minus 12 will give me plus 12. And we are done. As long as you know how to distribute and combine like terms, simplifying these expressions is very easy, yet very important because it's the first step when solving linear equations. Now, do the practice problems on your own. Thank you very much.